Aloha, everybody. My name is Tracy, and I'm a former founder, and I'm now an executive coach. And I work with coaching clients who are founders of technology companies because I myself was a founder, and I really, really want to support founders in their journey of building companies, especially first time founders, which is what I was. So, the first question that I'd like to talk to you about is how much should I pay myself as a founder? So I get this question from founders all the time, but it usually starts with founders just presenting that they are starting to feel burnt out. And once we dig a little deeper, we start to learn that actually they aren't paying themselves enough, if not at all. This is fine when you are starting the journey, when you're excited and you're eager, and you probably have enough savings that you can support yourself. But this starts to lose luster when you start to see that things aren't working out. You haven't hit product market fit yet. Your tech is buggy. Your partner is hounding you. They're worried about you because you're working weekends. They're worried about money. And all of a sudden, you start to notice you're feeling a little bit demotivated, detached, and these are the seeds of burnout, which is what we want to prevent. So I made this mistake myself when I first started my company, Choose. I paid myself about $30,000 the first year. Then, once I raised the seed round, I paid myself $50,000. That's because I was worried. I said I can pay myself less so that I can hire more people, which we'll talk about in a second. Here was the problem. We went into the Series A. I continued to pay myself less than market in an effort to save $20,000 or $30,000 a year. By the time we went to raise the Series B, I had a full board and I was ready to pay myself market. But when I presented that to my investors and board, they balked because they were used to me underpaying myself. And so I had to fight to pay myself market for my stage. And I set up the conditions for this to happen, which I do not want happening to you. So let's first define what market actually means. I don't mean benchmark to what Google and Facebook are paying their employees. I mean for your geography, for your stage of company, and for the amount of financing that you have raised. Look at those comparables and pay yourself based on that role according to that. We'll talk about that in a second and how to do that, but I want to address a concern that is probably popping up in your mind right now, which is, oh my God, we need to save money in order to preserve runway or in order to hire more employees, right? I had the same fear. The problem with this sentiment is that it makes you into a beautiful martyr, but you sacrifice your interests for the good of the company. This is very noble as a leader, and at many times you will have to do this as a leader. But when you shortchange yourself on your compensation, what will eventually happen is you will plant the seeds for resenting the company. And planting those seeds can lead to burnout. That's what we need to avoid. We need to keep you properly motivated. You are the most valuable asset to the company, especially when times get tough. Also, if you get used to shortchanging yourself, it's going to make it easier for you to underpay employees, which makes it harder to hire and to retain employees. So, I want to offer you a better belief that compensating myself fairly brings out my best work because I feel treated fairly, which means the business will be more successful. Two key actions that you can take right now. First off, pay yourself market for your stage as soon as possible. I'm going to give you some ranges and then some ideas for how to better come to this number. So I see for seed funded company CEOs, at the very, very lowest, they're paying themselves 50,000. That's if you're single, you have no other big expenses, but I think that's pretty low. I'd say that your bottom should be about 75,000, maybe your upper range about 100,000, maybe 125. The Series A I've seen as low as 100,000 and the upper range of about 175,000. Again, these can flex based on geography, the size of your financing, your experience, your personal needs as a founder, as well as the number of co-founders that you have. So my best advice is to go to other founders that you know and ask them, what are they being paid? And usually founder to founder, they're willing to share this information with you. You can also go to resources like Option Impact and First Round Salary for some benchmarks. And it's going to be important to equip yourself with this to present it to any investors or the board when the time comes if they have questions on why you picked that amount. To help you look around the corners, if you're a first time founder, typically how it works is You decide your compensation without any approvals until you get a board. Once you get a board, which typically happens around the Series A, the seed is kind of early, but it can happen for some companies. Then you have one of two paths. Either the board picks your compensation, or you pick your compensation and get board approval. But either way, you are setting the precedent early for your compensation. So don't make the mistake I made. Don't underpay yourself. The second thing you can do is identify your compensation mega belief. That means first, in two columns on a piece of paper, write down all of your limiting beliefs about why you don't feel that you deserve to pay yourself market. Write each one of them down, and then in the second column, I want you to write the opposite belief. Okay, what is the opposite? Instead of this is bad for my business, this is good for my business. And open yourself to the possibility that this could be actually more true than your original limiting belief. And then pick the most motivating one. That is your mega belief. Say it to yourself multiple times a day because we need to start to live it and breathe it and really believe it. So, again, as founders, we are seeking freedom. And the irony is that when we build our businesses, we are still shackled by our limiting beliefs. You have full control over your compensation, especially at the early stages. So please compensate yourself fairly so you have one less thing to worry about to keep you up at night. All right, if you liked this video, please subscribe, like, or check out my website at goLoveEngine.com for my coaching offering. And please leave comments below on other topics that you want to hear about. All right, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.